Hello everyone, once again you're welcome to my YouTube channel Mona Space. If this is your first time, you're welcome and I'm so glad you're here. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back and I hope you enjoyed this video. So in this video, I'll be taking you guys through my actual trip to Algeria. My journey to Algeria, yes. Going to the airport with my friends and family, taking pictures, bidding them farewell, the various stops I had to make before getting to my destination, Tlemcen in Algeria. On our way to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on the first night of my supposed flight, with my friends and family all present in the car, receiving all the hugs I could receive and trying to talk about everything I could possibly talk about, especially with my babies. Fortunately for us, we were all allowed into the departure building, well, to some extent, and then we took pictures. Well, I didn't go that day. So this was the final day of my trip. Yes. So we got to the airport quite early so we could meet up with all the required procedures before boarding. I had my passport checked and stamped. I had my baggages checked. I had to check the weight and I had to reduce quite a number of stuff. I'm sorry I couldn't record the video of all of that procedure because as at that time I was tired. I had to reduce things, I had to check the weight all over again, I had to reduce again until I got the required weight. I'm so glad my sister got to capture all of these beautiful moments. And I took pictures with my family, my brother, his wife, my sister, my family, and of course I had to take pictures with my babies. At this point I was left alone and I had gone through all the required checkpoints and all I had to do was to wait for my flight. So IPA called me and just while I wait time because my flight was actually delayed. We're just gisting, and then my soul sisters called me and we're also just gisting just while away time. Figuri is missing from this video because she had network issues, and then they also prayed for me. But as we were praying, I was also observing my environment so that I would know when people start moving towards the boarding gate so I don't miss my flight. My family and some other friends also called me on voice call so I couldn't record that moment. At this point, we're already boarding and walking towards the plane, and then I located my seat, which was by the window. This was my seatmate. He was so kind and he made the trip less boring for me. At this point, I was trying to acquaint myself with the package given to us. It had the socks, the earpod and the earpiece. Then I decided to see a movie. Can't remember the title, but I got bored and switched to music later on. Here I was vibing to the music. Here comes the interesting part. I was asked to choose between rice and pasta, and then I chose pasta. Worst decision ever. I ended up just taking the juice and the bread because I did not even understand what the pasta was tasting like. I had never tasted it before. Well, not this kind of pasta. I enjoyed the ice cream as well. I had to take the toilet selfie. I decided to sleep when I heard the announcement that there was a weather problem. The Nigerian in me woke up and I started looking at the screen in front of me just to follow up on the progress of the trip. And then we served our second meal, but even while eating, my eyes were still on the screen. While we were coming to Turkey, at some point I decided to rest for a bit, like just a bit. I had just started sleeping when they announced that there's a weather condition and we should tighten our seat belts. The Nigerian in me, I woke up immediately. It's not like I would be able to solve any case if anything happened, but I just wanted to be alert. And then I kept looking at the screen in front of me to follow up on the trip, to know where we were and what was happening. And guys, I could not sleep after that experience again. When we got to Istanbul, we couldn't land the plane because according to them, the airport was not free for us to land. So we kept turning in circles and circles. I have heard about these funny experiences where like people share it on social media and I just laugh about it. But I never thought it would happen to me. I'm like, God, we have gotten to our destination now, but we cannot land. So we kept turning in circles for long before we finally landed at the airport. That was a very funny experience. And then we landed in Istanbul, Turkey. I was alone with my heavy hand luggage trying to locate where I would get my connecting flight and avoiding every escalator. I almost fell off an escalator. I couldn't step on it. And then I stepped wrongly and I almost fell off. And even while I was going to come down from the escalator, a white lady had to help me, offer her hand for me to hold to come down, guys. After that experience, I avoided the escalator and I kept using the stairs. No matter how long the staircase was, I used the staircase. I had to use the restroom unknown to me, Jesus said so, and I couldn't wash my hands when I was done. But after observing others using it, I decided to try it myself and record the experience because it was actually so funny. Don't blame me, that was my first time. I connected to the Wi-Fi at the airport and then I spoke to my family and to the school. I made new Nigerian friends in my search for Wi-Fi. At least they could understand my language. I made them take me pictures because why not? I left them when it was time for my connecting flight because we were all going to different locations. I located my boarding gate and 98% of the passengers were adults returning from a pilgrimage. And they were all speaking languages I couldn't understand. Oh, how they pushed me. You can see how frustrated I was in this video. For my connecting flights from Istanbul to Oran, I was the only black person. Everyone, surprisingly, I don't know where they were going. Seems they were going for pilgrimage or they were coming back from a pilgrimage. They were all quite old people and they kept pushing me and dragging, trying to be in the front, trying to do all of that. And guys, that was not a funny experience. That was not a funny experience at all. It was at that point I felt the fact that I was the only one traveling, and it was not funny at all. This flight I flew business class and I got the window seat as well, and then I got all settled in. And again, I got a very nice seatmate. But there was a language barrier. She speaks French while I speak English. I could pick a few words from what I learned from the Duolingo app, but she just wouldn't stop talking to me and introducing me to everybody she knew on that plane. I would nod my head even though I didn't understand what she was saying, and she would laugh at me. She also taught me some new French words, and she did make the trip less boring. And quite interesting, by the way. They started off with giving us juice and then they gave us the menu to make our choice. The menu was written in English, so I was trying to translate for my seatmate so she could choose what she would like to eat, even though I knew I wouldn't be able to eat anything from that menu. And yeah, we were taking off from the airport at Istanbul, Turkey, to Oran, Algeria. Then came the air hostess to find out what food we decided to eat from the menu. And yeah, she was asking us questions. And then they did it again. They brought totally unfamiliar food, but I decided to try to see if I could even eat any of them. But I couldn't eat them. I had to give them to my seat partner and she totally enjoyed it. She cleared her plate. I ended up just taking the juice and the bread, and guys, I was so hungry. So I complained to the air hostess that I couldn't eat the food, so she gave me rice and chicken. But again, I could only eat the chicken. And once again, I gave the remaining food to my seat partner and she ate everything. At this point, I was so tired and drained. And now we were landing. I was so happy. Finally landed at the airport at Oran, and here is my seatmate bidding me farewell. The stressful part of this whole trip was when I landed in Oran. I had to communicate in French with the people at the airport. I had to fill a form in French, and thank God for the little knowledge I had from Duolingo, and with the help of one of the attendants, I think so, that worked in the airport. The annoying thing about traveling alone is trying to get all your baggages by yourself. Well, I succeeded, but it wasn't easy. Another thing was when I needed to get Wi-Fi to communicate with the driver who was coming to pick me, and then I had to find a way to communicate with anyone around me so they could turn on their hotspots, so I'll be able to communicate with the driver. Luckily for me, I succeeded with that. And then here I was waiting for the driver. This is the driver who came to pick me. And guys, all of this experience, it was a mixture of everything. It was fun, it was stressful, it was tiring, it was annoying, but the major thing was that it was fun and I enjoyed every moment of my trip. From Oran to Tlemcen was still another 2 hours, but then I had lovely sisters waiting to welcome me at the residence gate, and they helped with my luggages. See you next time. Bye. So guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do well to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.